Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
The studio was very nice. They arranged for me to see this movie last night.
Last night?
Yeah, I saw it. I really enjoyed it. Yes.
Did you get your picture taken with Robert Shapiro?
No, I didn't go to the big. I didn't go to the big thing where they take pictures and stuff because I'm always standing in front of someone whose picture they want. You know? So I avoid those things, and I went to just a regular old screening that they had set up.
Oh, great.
But I really enjoyed the movie.
Oh, good.
I didn't realize even before I went that you're playing one of the Musketeers.
Yes.
And you're, I should have guessed this, you're the angry Musketeer.
Yeah. Yeah. If Annette Funicello was a sort of Musketeer with breasts, I'm a sort of Musketeer with a great deal of rage, I think.
I thought you were going to say with breasts.
Yeah. Those might be coming soon. But,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's quite angry because in the film his son is killed, so that has a tendency to make people unhappy.
Yes. So that would probably rankle one, I would think.
Yeah.
But you're so good at playing angry. It's something that you do so well. And you're such a great actor, so I could believe that you would be able to do that, but I always think that you're channeling it from somewhere, some kind of anger in your youth, or...
Yeah, well, one could say, I mean, especially a qualified psychiatrist, that I'm psychotic, but, no, if anybody's grown up with a big brother, I think that helps a lot, and if your brother's sort of 6'2½", 245 at the age of 14, and if your wake-up call every morning is not like, you know, hello, Mr. Malkovich, it's 8:30 a.m., but it's like this person sitting on your head and farting, I think that rankles, too.
So this happened for a while.
Yeah, that was
I've never requested
6 years. Sorry, I didn't hear that. Could I have it? Oh, it's time to go to school. Oh, thank you. Were those tacos?
So this made you angry. What else?
Well, then you'd have, just a typical night would be, I was, your researcher put it very kindly, how did he say it? Stocky or heavy, I think he said. I was very fat when I was that age, and my idea of a night's entertainment would be sort of to stay up and watch, like, the John Philip Sousa story, the guy who invented the sousaphone. I'm sure you...
Yes.
You may have caught that at some point.
It's the only movie I watch.
Yeah, it's very good. But then my brother would come home and sort of, he'd have gone through, like, a kind of six-pack and a half, maybe, and then sort of collapse on the sofa and say, you know, change the channel. And you'd sort of say, well, actually, thanks, but, you know, I'm content with this. I'm watching John Phillips's story. Then he kind of gets up, pins you down, puts the legs, which he's like, you know, 6'2½", and his inseam is like 11. So he sort of puts the knees there and then just lets the beer drool fall on your face. Yeah. So you get angry. Sure you get angry.
The makings of like a modern-day Caligula.
Yeah, I know. Have you sought revenge on him at all, or no? When you get older, the anger towards him goes away and you channel it towards your work?
Often in your work, but you know, it's funny, even though my family used to lock me out of the house from the time I was 6 or 7.
Why?
Well, I wouldn't say they were afraid of my temper, but I had a bad temper. And they would lock me out of the house, and then they would go to the doors and windows and start to froth at the mouth, and they would chant in unison, "Mad dog, mad dog." You know, the kind of, you know, the peck where there's blood, do it till they cry. That
what?
Kind of thing.
So they were trying to push you to the edge, you think?
Yeah.
Happy little home you had there, sounds like.
It was a great time.
Yeah, you had a good time.
But, no, then later, certainly I channeled it in work, and sometimes I channeled it on the citizens of this fine city when I lived here.
You actually, well, I want to actually take a break before we talk about this, but I hear that you channeled some rage at a New York City mugger, and I'd very much like to hear about that. More rage and bone-crunching anger from John Malkovich. Stick around, we'll be right back. Malkovich, and I want to get into this. You said that you turned some of this rage at a mugger in New York City at one point.
Yeah, I had a few experiences here which finally taught me that A, I wasn't that well armed, and B, it was going to end in tears if I stayed, so I moved out quite a few years ago. But yeah, I remember once I was walking along the street up by where I lived on Columbus Avenue, and I kept hearing this man saying, we can't swear on this show, right?
We could bleep it if you want. Can we bleep it? Yeah.
Okay.
Well, an audience member just said sure.
Thank you. You're too
Go right ahead.
Feel free to jump in.
Yeah.
And I was walking on the street, and I heard this guy go, you get off me. And then he I heard him go, get the off me. And
I said you could do it once, you know. Certainly
And finally, being a bit slow, finally after the 11th time, I sort of thought, oh, me. Oh, goodness. You know?
Goodness.
And then I said to him, you know, now just suppose that I didn't want to get off you, but I want to get on you or sort of in you. Then how would you feel about that? And then he said the proverbial sort of, you crazy, and walked off. No, I just kind of flipped. I went home. I had on a very nice suit, which I changed, and I put on my sort of, you know, knifing clothes. And got my dad's Bowie knife, and then
that's a frontier weapon.
Yeah.
Did you choose between that and the musket?
No. Yeah.
Which one?
No, I wish I had a musket,
Okay.
but I think it's good I didn't have a musket. And then I found him over by the Natural History Museum and had a conversation with him there. And then we agreed that he had been impolite, and then that was sort of it. But that kind of thing happened to me quite a few times, too.
So you learned to deal with it. How did you know he was going to be at the Natural History Museum?
Well, it seemed like, you know, that's a lot like the people who frequent the Natural History Museum.
Wow, you're a detective as well. Okay.
Yeah, I just naturally took those two.
You just figured out, okay, I know where he's going.
Yeah, I know where he's going.
You don't...
It's either that or the Guggenheim.
I've noticed in a lot of your movies, or a lot of movies, I have a lot of actors come on and they tell me, oh, I love to do my own stunts. I insist on it.
They're quite crazy if they say that. I mean,
and you don't like to do your own stunts?
No. I mean, occasionally I've cried when people have said, you know, we want you to do this or that, you know, like run. A bus or something like that. Because that means, you know, you waste a perfectly good Camel unfiltered and you have to put it down and it may burn your chair and stuff like that. No, but I found myself, the thing about it is, see, they always say this is really safe, and of course people die all the time doing it.
Right.
And you always find yourself in things like in a film I did called In the Line of Fire. At one point there was a part where Clint Eastwood, who's playing the lead character, hits me and throws me out of an elevator, and I'm meant to look like I'm falling off this high-rise, and they sort of say, well, we'll just need one little bit of this fall, you know, sort of, and I sort of said, yeah, so I go like this, and that's it, and they sort of go, yeah, it's great. So I said, fantastic, you know, okay. I get there, and I look at the thing, and it's like 6 stories. Well, I don't want to do that. No. I mean, or you find yourself in Poland on the biggest horse in Europe with 4 Doberman pinschers on a leash, holding an 8-year-old boy by the hair as the horse is at a full gallop, and like you don't ride. That's what
But they want you to do it.
Yeah.
So you go home, change your suit,
Yeah, change your suit.
get your knife,
And you have to do it. Yeah.
put on the stabbing
No, you're
suit.
attacked. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not doing this scene.
Get the little sharpening thing.
So you would like a role where you're sitting like in a beanbag chair smoking through the whole movie?
Yeah, like something. I'd like to do an action film, but sort of like Lazy-Ater or something like that. The Lazy-Ater.
I'm going to get you in a while.
In fact, well, I've done Saturday Night Live several times, and the first or second time I did it, they had a really funny skit on it, which we ended up not doing because Lorne Michaels, who produced it, said, you know, kind of, it could really be great, or you'll never work again.
Right.
And I think you'll never work again if we do the skit, so we won't. But it was called The Lazy Psychopath, and it was, somebody was always going to, like, he'd read about Michael Jackson in the New York Post, and he'd say, you know, I'm going to get you and stuff, but then he'd just be too tired.
I was there then. I was there when they wrote that. That was a funny sketch. No, it would have been great for you. It was a mistake.
Yeah, it's a big mistake.
Lawrence, cuckoo. The Man in the Iron Mask, which I saw, it's a really fun, very good movie. Opens next Friday, March 13th. A real pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. John Malkovich.